एनएससी द्वारा प्रस्तुत सशक्त निवेशक के इस एपिसोड में आप सबका स्वागत है। आज हम एक बहुत ही खास मुद्दे पर बात करेंगे, एक ऐसा मुद्दा जो हम सब भारतवासी प्रेम करते हैं उस एसेट क्लास से, रियल एस्टेट। लेकिन शायद आप में से कई लोगों को ये नहीं मालूम होगा कि रियल एस्टेट केवल आपको एक घर या ऑफिस बिल्डिंग में एक जगह या जमीन के द्वारा खरीद कर ही नहीं लेनी होती। पिछले 20 साल में भारत में रीट, जिसे रियल एस्टेट इन्वेस्टमेंट ट्रस्ट कहते हैं, उस पर बहुत चर्चा रही। और आज मेरे साथ ऋत्विक भट्टाचार्य जी जुड़ रहे हैं, जो चीफ इन्वेस्टमेंट ऑफिसर हैं एम्बेसी ऑफिस पार्क्स रीट के। और बहुत अच्छी बात यह है कि ऋत्विक ने अपनी पूरी जो इन्वेस्टिंग जर्नी थी, अलग अलग जगहों पर, अलग अलग रोल्स पे विदेश में की और कई देशों के मार्केट में ये एक पार्टिसिपेंट रहे, एडवाइजर रहे और बहुत ही सीनियर पोजीशंस पर रहे। लेकिन भारत वापस आए, भारत की जो अपॉर्चुनिटी थी रीट्स की वो देखी उन्होंने, और आज जिस रीट को ये चलाते हैं वो एक लिस्टेड रीट है। और आज हम नेशनल स्टॉक एक्सचेंज के जिस स्टूडियो में बैठे हैं, यहाँ से थोड़ी ही दूर बाहर 5 साल पहले इनका रीट यहाँ लिस्ट भी हुआ था। लेकिन रीट के बारे में हम सब बहुत कम जानते हैं। और आज इस एपिसोड में ऋत्विक, आपका बहुत धन्यवाद आने के लिए। आप बेंगलोर से आए इस रिकॉर्डिंग के लिए, और हम थोड़ी देर पहले बातें भी कर रहे थे रीट के बारे में। और जो मेरा सवाल था यही था कि हम सब भारतवासी रियल एस्टेट से बहुत प्रेम करते हैं, और आज भी अगर हम देखें रियल एस्टेट की जो कैटेगरी या इन्वेस्टिंग है वो बहुत बड़ी है। हमारे इक्विटी मार्केट ले लीजिए या किसी चीज को ले लीजिए, लेकिन मुश्किलें भी होती हैं लोगों को। कभी जमीन पे कब्जा हो जाता है, कभी कोई प्रॉपर्टी डिस्प्यूट हो जाता है, कभी जब बेचने जाए तो बेच नहीं पाते हैं। और तभी ये, जैसे मैंने कहा, मैं 20 साल पहले से ये रीट नाम सुनता रहता था, और बहुत अच्छी बात है कि आज ये एक रियलिटी है। तो सबसे पहले आपसे जानना चाहूंगा कि रीट होता क्या है और कैसे काम करता है।
फर्स्टली विवेक जी, थैंक यू। मैं यहाँ पहली बार आया हूँ ये एनएससी में, ये इन्वेस्टर एजुकेशन करने के लिए। तो और मैं सोचता हूँ कि इन्वेस्टर एजुकेशन जो आप कर रहे हैं ये बहुत ही नोबल कॉज है हमारे देश के लिए। अभी हम ये $4 ट्रिलियन का मार्केट कैपिटलाइजेशन है। इट्स अ सोर्स ऑफ ग्रेट प्राइड हम सब के लिए, हम सब भारतवासी के लिए। सो एंड वट एवर आई कैन डू टू हेल्प इन दिस प्रोसेस, हम भी करें ये रीट की तरफ से। just even otherwise, I think we're very, very proud to be a part of this entire story. So, you're absolutely right, sir. ये जो हमारे जो लव अफेयर है रियल एस्टेट से, इंडियंस के लव अफेयर बहुत ही कॉम्प्लिकेटेड लव अफेयर है, बहुत ही कॉम्प्लिकेटेड, राइट? इट इज वन ऑफ हार्ट ब्रेक, हार्ट बर्न, यू नो, यूफोरिया। लेकिन at the end of the day, हम जो ये रीट, ये 20 साल का जो कहानी है रीट का, we have tried to make this as simple as possible to say that residential real estate is not the only product that you can buy or should buy. ये रीट जो है ये कमर्शियल रियल एस्टेट पर फोकस करता है। We are 2 सेक्टर्स हैं अभी, ऑफिस एंड मॉल्स। 4 रीट है इंडिया में। Very simple construct and a long-term construct. It effectively owns properties, office properties or malls. We charge rents. Rents जो है हम distribute करते हैं investors को. So ये distributions compound करते हैं, and then it's over the long term. You should hold this, you know, and really never sell it. You can use it to fund education, retirement. Think of it as a buy and hold opportunity for any investor. You can buy it on the stock exchange. in the form of one share, literally one share, just like a stock. And you can sell it, not that you should, but that in effect is what the REIT is. But there are clearly some governance and some regulations that are safeguards because India में new product है. The most important thing is we have to pay 90% of our distributions out every 6 months. हम quarterly करते हैं. So Embassy REIT जो है, I'm the chief investment officer of Embassy REIT. We paid out 9,000 crores since we listed. 5 साल that we've been listed, we paid out over 9,000 crores. This is a regulation. In India में ऐसे regulations नहीं होते हैं, but for REITs globally these are regulations. Right? That's one.
जैसे एक स्टॉक पे डिविडेंड होता है, तो आप कह रहे हैं यहाँ पर डिविडेंड देना नेसेसरी है, देना ही
रूल देना ही है, otherwise you are violating the fundamental covenant of offering, right? And this is non-negotiable, but it's a SEBI mandated requirement. So just think of a REIT as a high dividend paying stock that has to pay the dividend. The second important thing is that for all your listeners, that we have to have 80% of हमारे जो assets है has to be in income or rent generating assets. क्योंकि वो rents तो आते हैं, the rents have to be sort of actually put into the investors' hands. So anything that, if it's not rent generating, there's no dividends coming out. And if there's no dividends coming out, then again, I'll trip the REIT covenants. So again, a global rule, the percentage of what is rent generating varies, but these are two fundamental, very sacred sort of rules that REITs must abide by.
Are REITs only focused on commercial and office globally, or is residential also something that REITs do globally? You've worked so much in global markets. Is it that in India we're still evolving, that therefore it is not in residential, or is globally REIT an office commercial product?
Yeah, great question. The short answer is yes, globally residential is a part of the REIT ecosystem, and that includes apartments, single family homes. And the answer for that is those are mature markets. Residential and land and land titles and the ability to transact efficiently so that people actually pay rents and not have a dispute every time something ever, again, part of the complicated love affair that Indian resident real estate has, doesn't exist in those markets. And in India, it's at this point in time, it's only office and it's malls. There is a retail mall out there, but residential in advanced markets, you have shopping centers, you have malls, you have hotels, you have healthcare, hospitals, you have prisons that are part of sort of the REIT ecosystem, and obviously residential data centers, warehouses, logistics. आपके जो ये audience है, they should understand that this is a source of great pride, the structure in India, because it really shows that our market is maturing. And we are funding a country at lower costs. We are giving people the opportunity to work in companies that pay rents to a REIT like us. We are an office REIT, the world's biggest and best companies. I don't want to pitch the product, the investor education net, so I'm aware of that. But fundamentally, this is an opportunity for us the REITs play an important role in the development of the country, because we provide world-class office spaces, we borrow at low cost of capital, and we distribute dividends. And this is exactly what REITs were started in 1960 in America. So they've been around for 60 years. They're $2 trillion asset class globally. There are around 1,000 REITs. And this is why, to give retail the opportunity to buy into commercial real estate easily, just like they would in a stock, because REITs are stocks.
जब कोई कंपनी IPO करती है या शेयर बाजार में लिस्ट होती है या इन्वेस्टर्स को लेके आती है, तो वो इसलिए आती है क्योंकि उस पैसे से वो कोई फैक्ट्री बनाती है या कोई ऑफिसेज लेती है या अपना जो भी बिजनेस एक्सपेंशन है वो करती है. आपसे जो मुझे बात समझ आ रही है कि जिस तरह से भारत में अब डेवलपमेंट हो रही है, जैसे आपने डेटा सेंटर्स कहा, फैक्ट्रियां बन रही हैं, डेटा सेंटर्स बन रहे हैं, इस बड़े किस्म से जो एक बूम चल रही है, खासकर रियल एस्टेट में अगर आप देखें, मैं कमर्शियल रियल एस्टेट ये बात जी समझ गया। आप ये कह रहे हैं कि जो रीट है वो वही रोल प्ले कर सकते हैं या करते हैं एक डेवलपर के लिए जो एक बहुत बड़ी स्टेट ऑफ द आर्ट ऑफिस कॉम्प्लेक्स बना रहे हैं या डेटा सेंटर बना रहे हैं, उनको पैसों की जरूरत है। हाँ, तो आप जैसे रीट के पास जाते हैं और आप उसमें निवेश करते हैं, क्या मैं सही समझ रहा हूँ?
या लेकिन थोड़ा बहुत नुआंस भी है इसमें, क्योंकि ये डेटा सेंटर जैसा प्रोडक्ट अभी भी इंडिया के लिए नया है, ये महंगा भी है,
ये कोई भी कमर्शियल
बट
सिर्फ डेटा सेंटर
बट जी। सो ऑफिस, हमारे जो ऑफिस है या मॉल्स, ये रीट में आप इंजेक्ट कर, एनी डेवलपर या जिसके पास ये प्लेटफॉर्म या पोर्टफोलियो है, मोनेटाइज कर सकते हैं रीट द्वारा, राइट? क्योंकि फिर कैपिटल मार्केट्स में आप नए पैसे भी रेज कर सकते हैं, इक्विटी, शायद डेट, ये बॉन्ड्स, ये टर्म लोन्स, जो भी है, जो फाइनेंस करना है, बिजनेस फाइनेंस करना है, आप अभी ये आईपीओ द्वारा, रीट आईपीओ द्वारा मोनेटाइज कर सकते हैं
जी। और अगर हम बात रिटर्न्स की करें तो हालांकि आपने जैसे कहा कि अभी भारत में रेजिडेंशियल रीट्स की अभी शुरुआत नहीं हुई, लेकिन वैसे भी रेंटल यील्ड्स 2.5-3-4% ही रहते हैं इस वक्त जी, और कई सालों से कमर्शियल में थोड़ा ज्यादा। तो अगर मैं एक कंज्यूमर हूं जो या इन्वेस्टर हूं जो आज की डेट में यही सोचता हूं कि बड़े बड़े ऐड आते हैं कि जी एक नई बिल्डिंग बन रही है, आप उसमें इतने स्क्वायर फीट की एक ऑफिस स्पेस ले लीजिए और आपको इतना रेंट, अगर उसकी बजाय मैं एक, जैसे आपने कहा, एक शेयर, एक सबसे बड़ी बात तो ये, मैं वो ऑफिस की जगह लेने जाऊंगा तो लाखों रुपए मुझे खर्चने पड़े, और कई बार मुझे ये भी नहीं पता कि वो जगह है कहाँ, क्योंकि कोई ऑफिस तो मिलता नहीं है। तो जरा 2-3-4 जो बेनिफिट्स हैं एक इन्वेस्टर के लिए, ये अगर आप बता।
जरूर। सो ऐसे आप जो कंपैरिजन कर रहे हैं, ये रीट्स और ये फ्रैक्शनल ओनरशिप के बाद फिजिकल फ्रैक्शनल ओनरशिप ऑफ रियल एस्टेट का कंपैरिजन आप दे रहे हैं। सो 2-3 चीज अलग होता है रीट्स का, एंड द फर्स्ट इज रीट्स बहुत ट्रांसपेरेंट होता है। जैसे when you actually invest in one, you are investing in a company run by professional managers that is listed according to SEBI regulations. So everything I show you has to be done like a real company. I report earnings every quarter. You can listen to my earnings call, and you can see everything on my website. Globally, any publicly listed REIT has all this information like any publicly listed company, whether it's a Reliance or an HUL. We talk to the market all the time, and you can question us, and that's what we do for a living. The second is we must we trade like a stock, so you can actually buy ये जो आपका floor illiquid है, you put the money in a few lakhs and then you don't see it for a while, you don't know where it's going, who's in the property maintenance, any of that, and it just becomes a little difficult to really sort of keep an eye on that. And the third is, if you think about, so it's also opaque, like, or you can't see what's going on, so it's not sort of really transparent, and also sort of in a REIT, the question of liquidity, right? If you can buy one share, you can buy 5 shares, you can plan it, just you can buy it through a mutual fund, you can buy it as a stock. So the ticket size is very low. So the benefit of that is the benefit of why REITs were created in the first place, even in the US and globally, to allow people to buy it and avail of the growth in commercial real estate. And commercial होता है, ये office होता है, malls, मैंने जो आपको पहले बताया. Now returns. The REITs typically India may have we yield around anywhere from 7 to 8%, 7 to 8.5%. Now people say ये जो तो FDs में मुझे ये मिल रहा है, but it's not an FD, right? It's not sort of a fixed income. So what this has is it also has the growth that comes from how the business should grow. When rents grow, when we add more property in, when we add properties in, those we ingest companies, those add to the distributions, all of that, the leasing goes up. People, when a lease expires, you lease at a higher lease. The market rent goes up. That eventually adds to income, which adds to your dividends. So what we call this, all these growth levers, we effectively call sort of, the capital appreciation. So you think about the dividend yield, then you get obviously the stock price that manifests itself in the stock price. So you should think of a REIT as in a normal market should give you sort of a mid-teens return, which is typically sort of where REITs have existed. Now, हमारे जो देश में significant volatility भी था in the last 5 years. There was a pandemic, there's been interest rate issues. So we have delivered, takes nothing away from the fundamentals of the business. But given that it is a new product, it'll just take a little more time to see sort of the benefits of growth across the sector, across all the REITs. We all are very stable, asset intensive, superbly run businesses, but the growth that you can expect will be on top of the dividend yield. So the comparison, there's no real comparison with either residential or any of the other fixed income securities that you see. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, of course, of course. What, according to you, do you feel, we were talking just before we walked into this, conversation, and you mentioned that when you got listed, you had about 4,000 investors. Today, you have about 90,000 investors, and that's just you alone. That's a significant jump. Do you feel that, and what do you think needs to be done to make people understand the benefit of this product? If I can summarize it, you talked about transparency, which is so important for people, right? You talked about the fact that it's liquid, which is again so very important, vis-a-vis physical real estate. And you talked about being regulated, which is again very important, right? While of course in real estate now, a lot of reform happened post-Avera and things are getting better, but it's still it's such a vast, there's no one unified regulation in that sense. States have their own RERAs, implementation. So what according to you needs to be done to make this more popular with people, and what are the kind of people who you see are investing in the REITs currently in India?
Yeah. Two words said sort of 3 times or multiple times: education and awareness, education and awareness, education and awareness. You cannot get enough of it in this country, and it's not actually just for REITs. It's just for the capital markets and across all asset classes. And we are still a very young country when it comes to investing, and there's always a lot of, when I read the papers or whenever there's news out there, it tends to be very frothy. It tends to be sort of very short term. And all investing, I think, should really be sort of a patient capital formation. People should really think about building wealth creation. Wealth creation, ये 1 महीने में नहीं आता है, 6 महीने में नहीं, 5 साल में नहीं. It's about compounding wealth. And I think what we are proud of as a REIT industry, and now we have 4 REITs, we have an association, much like Amphi and the Mutual Fund Association, is that we've built on our collective successes. My counterparts in the other REITs are, fantastic. They are fantastic companies. Together, we have built this. I don't take credit for the 90,000 just for us. Together it's 200,000 sort of, investors across the 4 REITs and growing. I think we were talking about, mutual funds are now, 22% of my shareholder base. Again, it's not. The evolution of this comes from getting the word out there and demonstrating how the business works. We are supposed to report semi-annually as an industry. All of us report every quarter. So there's the question of being transparent, the question of showing you how the business works, taking all the difficult questions, but letting people understand and having a first-hand, first-class look at the business is, I think, critical to get a foothold in their psyche and their consciousness. And we have, to your question, we're thrilled to have investors who buy, even 1 share, 2 shares. But we want them to sort of stay with us, to grow, to reinvest the dividends, grow along with us. We've been around for 5 years. The other REITs are also coming up. This sector will, as India's capital markets grow, real asset industries without hype, without speculation. This is we run a long-term business. We report every quarter. That that might not necessarily be sort of something that plays to the short-term kind of instincts, but we're a long-term business at the end of the day. And I think the more people, we wanted to be in the same breath as, I held Reliance for the last 30 years, see where it's had HDFC Bank. You become a bellwether stock, you become a bellwether company, and sort of in that psyche. And the way you do it is you educate about what it does, and then you perform. And there should be no excuses. And I think in the last 5 years, that's effectively what we've done. We list the sector came into being at a very volatile time in global real estate. And we can't control that. We can only execute what we have. And I think all we can do is take it to the market to show people. I will say one thing in this. Our regulators have been very, very helpful and pragmatic. I think we do have conversations. We do have debates. It's not always everybody agrees on everything, but I think it's also, been remarkable that they've been, very helpful, very open to changes, very open to feedback. And it's very heartening for an emerging country's capital markets to have this level of, debate and healthy discussion. Otherwise, this sector wouldn't exist.
Absolute pleasure talking to you, Ritwik. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks so much
here to the NSE headquarters for this podcast. And I do look forward to many more conversations with you as REITs become more popular. We need to educate people. If you've heard Ritwik closely, he has outlined very clearly why you need to consider REIT as part of your investment portfolio. Instead of just locking money away in a physical real estate asset. I know we all love real estate, but here is a far more transparent way and a liquid way and a credible way, regulated way to invest in a real estate asset. Thank you very much for listening to this podcast here with Ritwik Bhattacharjee. Thank you.
Thanks, Vivek.